Let's go, bub. Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut!
Nothing moves the blob!
One of our favorites. Just watching them. We also really love Bluey at our house.
I hear good things about Bluey. I've seen a little.
It is amazing. Like, it's an adult show made so kids could watch it too. It's wonderful.
There's a lot of subtle adult humor. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's not like tongue in cheek necessarily. Every once in a while you'll get something that's a little like, ooh, but it's so over the top, over the heads of kids. You're like,
Yeah.
Can you
One
guys
of
hear
my
me?
favorite One of my
sorry.
favorite episodes is the whale episode, when it's specifically right after New Year's Eve, and you can tell that Chili and Bandit, the parents, are hungover, and the kids still want to play. Oh, it's lovely.
So we are back. Hello. I am having some technical issues with my main camera, so I'm to my backup right now. So if it looks like I'm not looking at you for some reason, it's because I'm looking at the right screen, and my camera is off the other side. You know, in fact, I could probably adjust that later. Anyways, I picked up some peripherals for it, so I can try and do it with HDMI, and it works, and then it just decides it wants to reboot for some reason.
Oh, dang.
So that's the reason why when you guys were in the ready, you saw those the bars go up on the screen.
Color bars.
Oh, okay.
The color bars like you would see for old school UHF channel testing.
Right.
So at any rate,
Doing the emergency broadcast system.
yes. So without further ado, why doesn't somebody give us a quick breakdown as to where we're at?
Yeah, so let's see here. Last time, Shone was teleport happy. She teleported to Komore's room, scared her a bit, but gave her some breakfast, and then teleported then to Carmen's apartment, scared everybody there. We decided it was fine for her to teleport to our place because it wouldn't reveal where the vein was, and we could all talk there, discuss what to do next. Meanwhile, we were able to find an address for Dr. Rostenkowski's grave at a cemetery in Simi Valley, California. So we flew there while Angler stayed behind in Strongford. When we got there, we dug up the doctor's grave while it was cloaked by Lightbringer and Komori at the same time. And then we used the medical scanner and found out the body didn't seem to match that of Dr. Rostenkowski's. So it seemed like it was a different body put in her grave. Meanwhile, Mainframe let Angler know that Dr. October was attacking the Shadestone building. Angler was flying his way there, but for his reasons, he stopped and decided not to intervene and went home instead. Then the rest of us went to Komore's storage unit that she had, paid off the debt that she had. We found several things like birth certificate, check copies, and bank statements that showed that Dr. Rostenkowski and Dr. Logan McCluskey, Electrum, even had a joint account together, but that money, a bunch of it, apparently all of it, was withdrawn shortly before she died. We also got samples of her hair, so we can work on testing that. But then as we were leaving, Mainframe let the rest of us know Dr. October was attacking Shadestone, so we teleported there, made sure Komori wasn't within the fray, and the rest of us then worked on dealing with the aftermath. But it seems as if the CEO, Mr. Belichick, may have been killed in an explosion that Dr. October caused.
Also, we found out that you have a sister.
Yeah. Komori.
Mm-hmm. Wombat.
That's right. That's my name.
Don't wear it out.
I'm a woman and I'm a bat. It makes sense when you really think about it.
Well, wombat does not sound as good.
Wombat.
That just sounds like she flies around birthing on people to stop time.
Oh,
It's
gross.
just like weird in a maternal sort of way, you know.
Awkward.
Or maybe she just induces labor pains. That would be a good way to stop a villain.
Oh wow,
Whoa.
Oh God!
that looked really weird. It almost looked like Brittany was lighting a cigarette. She had her straw like this, and it was like she had the way that she had her hand. I was like, I had to do a mental double take. I was like, what?
Nice.
Like when you're bringing the light.
All right, so
This is a new character trait here.
so where we pick up here, you guys have just helped clean up around the Shadestone complex or building where the explosion had gone off. I take it nobody has. You're not hanging around to talk to the police, or are you?
Let's see. Well, we were involved in in saving other civilians who were trying to get out, so Hyperion would at least stay there, and yeah, he would want to make sure that everyone's there so that we can talk to them, so it doesn't look strange, and we can tell them what we saw.
Okay. And what about Komori? Is she staying hidden? Do you have her tucked away in your secret little wombat pouch?
To keep her identity safe, and because she's technically like not a part of the legacy at this
Mhm.
point, suggests that she kind of stay in the background, and we'll meet up with her and travel with her after discussing things with the police.
Okay, fair enough. So passing through all of that, then you answer some basic questions, most of which are truthful. You can delineate if you lied to them to any degree, but most of it is just, did you know what was going on? Obviously, the bulk of you know you had no idea what was going on. You just responded to a downtown crisis to help save people, pull them out of the fire, so on and so forth. Typical superheroing things. So every member of the legacy, as your superhero identity, you end up getting a +4 to your popularity.
Our
I'm
public
just the eye in the sky right now.
And I've got two popularities.
Most everybody should have at least 2 popularities.
Yeah.
Oh, then I must have 3 because I have Freddy,
Three.
the Angler, and Frying Fisher.
I have one.
I
for
only
New
have
Prussia.
one.
Very popular in New Prussia.
Yeah, you should always have, if you're maintaining a secret identity, you have at least 2.
Yeah.
If you have not split that up, then you need to.
I should probably adjust the character.
Because
Then my popularity is 0 for.
yeah, your
Private
your
persona.
popularity for you as an individual is probably going to be somewhere in the realm of nothing, because
Yeah.
you're just not known.
Yep.
It's your superhero identities that
Add-
should have some sort of
the
degree of.
nothing. Carry
Yeah.
the
You
nothing.
said we just got bumped up 4 points. You said
4
Yes.
points, yeah.
it gives
multiply by
me
nothing.
38.
No, that's nothing.
Yeah,
Not
don't
about
multiply,
nothing.
don't multiply it by nothing. Oh,
We're
no.
popular.
Carry the nothing.
Popular.
It's not about aptitude, it's the way you're viewed. And it's very true to be very, very popular. Not like me.
Oh wow.
All right.
I wouldn't say Komori's popular. Nobody knows.
And now we will watch Komori do the Pirates of Penzance.
That's actually one I don't have memorized.
That's a great show.
So
It is a
there's
great
always the
show. I
pirates
just
that
don't
don't do
have it
anything, though.
memorized.
Sorry, what did you say, Justin?
There's always the pirates who don't do anything, though.
This is
I
true.
would love to memorize the super fast song in Pirates of Penzance. Such a good one.
Model of a modern
Yeah.
meter. That one.
Right.
oh,
Yes, that one.
the model Solarian.
Oh yeah. The Mass Effect one.
That's how I know the song. That's the song to me. It's the Mass
Funny.
Effect song. I'm the model of a scientist Solarian.
I'd have to hear it. I know I've heard it before, but I just
So, at any rate, back to game. You have done the PR duty at this point. The police don't have any additional questions for you. You have circled back to where the rooftop where you teleported in. Presumably, Komori is still hanging around somewhere, invisible,
upside down.
doing her predator thing.
Right.
Although
She's
most
like-
bats are not predatory.
I can't do that weird like
Yeah, the
that's what
predator
you hear
call.
when she's around.
Oh yeah.
All right. So yeah, when we head back to wherever we left her to
Rooftop.
rendezvous, rooftop, yeah. So we get there, and if I don't see Komori right away, we'll be like, You can show yourself, Komori, if you're here.
Komori will fly over and then show herself.
Okay. There's a little bit of a delay. You hear some footsteps touch back down on the roof, and she materializes.
Excellent. I take it you didn't run into any danger while we were gone.
No. Just flew. Eye in the sky. Is everything okay? What damage? What happened?
Significant damage to the building. We managed to save most of the individuals who were caught in fires or damaged parts of the floors of the building. But it seems that the CEO, Mr. Belichick, has been killed.
By Dr. October?
Correct.
That's unfortunate.
Is it okay
Or-
if I'm not really sad about that?
No, not at all.
Okay, so he's not a good guy at all.
It's complicated.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't approve of his methods, but I don't know.
They're effective.
It's possible that there was information that we could have gotten that we now can't. And that I'm sad about.
Well, if anyone has it, it's probably going to be Dr. October now.
Which means we can either see if we can intercept him at the temporary domicile he had in that neighborhood, Riverside and Fairside. Caught myself. Almost said it. Or we can contact him in the way that he mentioned before when we were speaking to him, creating a message on a billboard.
What about my mom's hair?
Yes. In the meantime, we should at least
Our
analyze
mom's hair. Sorry, it's weird saying that.
that. Understandable. Let's return to the vein. See what we can find out through mainframe and look through the documents that we found. Shown. Are you ready to teleport?
Yes. As soon as you're all ready.
Bam.
Mainframe. Buzz in protocol, please.
Protocol in buzz.
Not to shown as we all hold on.
So there's a brief sound like a loud window, like a window being slammed shut, just and then suddenly everywhere around you is shunted and it looks different, and there's a bit of a smell of ozone electrified in the air as you materialize back into the vein.
But that's normal, right? That's what it normally
Uh-huh.
feels like. Okay. Just checking.
I don't know if I can get used to that.
It does take some getting used to. It's
I suppose it's not for everybody.
Oh, speaking of which, Komori, why don't you roll your endurance?
Ooh. You want me to roll? Uh-oh.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
First roll of the night.
Can I get the command again really quick? Oh, I see it. Hold
Yeah.
Exclamation point, roll, and then whatever your rank is.
on. And endurance, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
So you have what, RM30 or IN40?
Yeah, RM30.
Okay, so it'll be RM.
White feet.
White result. So
Oh, that's normal for me. White is good, right? Not good.
Nice try.
White is purity. I mean, your first thought is, yeah, I'll never get used to that, and your body reminds you that you're not used to that yet.
Yeah,
And
I'm
you have like
calling it my
moments.
super sensitive ears because I do have sonar.
You have
Just-
moments to race to the bathroom to try and protectively vomit without losing it.
I don't know where the bathroom is, so I'm looking for a garbage can.
We'll say that there's one nearby. You just happen to like grab real quick and just lose it. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you all right, Komori? Was that from the teleportation?
Yes. Bleh.
Yeah, there's an affirmative statement somewhere in between the heaves that you're pretty certain of.
Like a quick thumbs up, or
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All those donuts I ate earlier.
Ooh, yeah. Sugary.
All right. At this point, Ixion, will you be able to analyze the DNA samples from Dr. Rostenkowski's hair samples?
Yes, I will get on it right away.
Thank you. In the meantime, we need to find a way to perhaps respond to those calls faster than we had before.
We can start by not making deals with villains.
Do you not understand why we had that arrangement with him?
We should have done the right thing and taken him in. We shouldn't have made a deal. We shouldn't have tried to bargain with him, because now all he has to do is go public about us, because I'm willing to bet that there was a camera or two in there watching us.
It does look bad.
And this is coming off of an investigation because admittedly I opened my big mouth where we're going to have UN inspectors coming into Quantum Unlimited.
I understand where you're coming from.
So not only will we appear to be Nazi sympathizers before the investigation is complete, now we're working with the villains.
I understand where you're coming from. The situation tactically was not in our favor. We were within his domicile. He had advanced machinery beyond my current understanding. He even had robot forces outside with weapons that were pointed at us. And even he himself warned us of possible collateral damage. We're, after all, within an active neighborhood.
We assume it to be an active neighborhood.
It was.
With the exception of that house that was for sale.
If we had gone to the authorities, what would have happened to Komori?
That's a very good question. And I'm not arguing that we saved a life and it's not a bad thing, but bargaining for information does not look good. And again, I take some of the responsibility because if this was a one-off thing with a local villain who isn't making national headlines, then it could have been said that they were trying to uncover secrets from another criminal organization, and we were helping with an investigation. It still looks bad for us, but it doesn't look nearly as bad. But coming off of a UN investigation into the organization to which I work for, it looks very, very bad. Because if I'm willing to, and I know as much as Sagan doesn't like me at the moment, I see you staring bullets in the back of my head.
She's actually right now going through the paperwork and stuff that you guys have brought in. She's actually she's ignoring the whole conversation right now and just trying to delineate it up so there's like piles of this, piles of that for research purposes later.
if I'm willing to work with the new Prussian government, I'll use my nice words about them, then what stops me from now working with villains in order to take down other villains? So now that villain has leverage over me. It is a very specific problem. And once you start going down the rabbit hole of working with your literal enemies, not so much with New Prussia, in my opinion, at the moment, but your villains, the people who terrorize and kill people in your city, you run into new problems.
So maybe we need to come up with actual boundaries, rules of operation for our team. What are we willing to do? What are we not willing to do? I think they're always going to come up with new situations that are going to try to prey on our good natures. Somebody's always going to be at risk, but isn't that what divides us from the bad guys? Is there are certain things that we're not willing to do, so we just need to decide what those things are and then try and stick to them.
If it had been anybody else, I would have responded immediately and left directly for the scene. But because it was Dr. October, because I was alone, and because if sudden loyalties come into question, it presented a lot of problems that I would not have been able to mitigate on my own.
What do you mean you were alone?
It was just me here when that call came in.
So you had already investigated the scene?
No. Mainframe notified me that Dr. October was attacking. We had not received any call from Aegis. I expected Aegis to be quicker to respond to it since they're within the city.
I don't know that I would have expected you to act solo for a threat of that level. I don't know.
It took Mainframe to inform us, rather than you informing us.
You were all busy taking care of Komori.
Of course, but we had the capability of teleporting, and you know this.
And were you busy when it was going on? Were you in the middle of a task at the active moment?
Stop being a supervillain was clearly a higher priority.
How many hours have passed, Jerome?
From what? When everybody broke off to go do the thing and
yeah, and dig up the corpse.
We'll say 4 at this point.
And when did the call come in for
Doc Ock?
Doc Ock?
That came in roughly halfway through.
And what were you doing 2 hours ago specifically?
At that point, we were, I believe, on our way to the storage unit that Komori owned.
You didn't update me, letting me know what you were doing. The problem is we're at a circular point where we
nothing to do with what happened.
The point I'm making is that you didn't reach out to me telling me what y'all were doing, and I didn't think that Aegis of all organizations would have let someone terrorize a city like they did.
They are a private company. They are not public police.
And neither are we.
What do you think your job is, Angler? Here. Are you not a superhero?
I'm a superpowered being, yes. A hero is defined by who sees you in from the future.
That's troubling.
So
All people think
Yeah,
they're-
I'm not following you either.
at that point, Sagan raises her hands and she says, "Okay, so I've got you can debate futuristic stuff later. I've got all the paperwork delineated out for whatever research you guys are needing to do. I've got bills over here, miscellaneous mail over here, scraps of, I don't know, whatever. This lady seemed to like sticky notes. Over there, and anything that's not paperwork I left in the vessel for the time being because it's too big."
Thank you, Sagan. Much appreciated. Yes, I will go through this paperwork. He walks over to the piles and he goes ahead and he's looking at the piles, and because of what he can do, he like memorizes each thing so he can parse the data in his head and all that.
Sure. So it doesn't take you very long because it's not like it's not like a normal. That's the benefit of. I mean, obviously you had to learn being human, but that's the benefit of not being human. You can just kind of parse it. It's committed to your memory, and then you're done. So it really takes you a lot less time than it would take a normal person to kind of go through stuff and review and re-review and whatnot.
Sweet.
So, you end up seeing, obviously there's some generic bills that have come in. Some of them are like super old, like by a year or so. You've obviously seen the statements, bank account statements. There's a couple of those unopened, but really all those are just bank transactions from like the month previous and whatnot. Then you end up finding a letter from somebody by the name of Sean Fitzpatrick.
And what did that letter say?
And that letter actually was addressed from Strongford. The basic gist of the letter is kind of somebody ranting at her about why she left. That she left in a hurry, and the letter was dated. Let's see. 14 years ago. It's kind of a jilted lover sort of thing. It sounds kind of manic. In the tone that's written. Although the penmanship is amazing. It's clear the person was well versed in cursive.
Okay.
So and good. So it's not like somebody barely passable or whatnot. And the verbiage used is also something you would notice somebody who is educated.
Okay.
But that's what you pick up on. And apparently it was somebody who had been involved with her at one point in time.
And they didn't sign sincerely or put their name in the letter at all?
No, but I mean, the letter is from somebody by the name of Sean Fitzpatrick. That's who mailed it.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. All right.
In fact, you actually catch a comment in the letter that states, something to the effect of I thought we were going to have a second chance when you nursed me back to health after the attempt on my life, but you vanished shortly thereafter.
Right. That was 1980 then. Okay. All right. Anything else in the documents of note?
No. I mean, outside of, you see some scraps there that are like reminders for milk or groceries or, the typical things that you might find. How this wound up in here is anybody's guess, but.
Okay. Komore's birth certificate, does it show the names of both of her parents?
It actually does not. It only shows the name of her mother.
So then, is it just like blank, or is it like
Mhm.
redacted for the father's?
It's blank.
Okay.
Immaculate conception, then.
That's why she was so special.
Does it say it would nor under normal circumstances it might say unknown, but it's just blank?
Yeah, it's just blank.
Well, you know, bats don't have names, so
What's his name? It was.
We're just gonna leave
How
that.
do you
blank.
write
How
that
about
down?
Okay.
Reminiscence of the movie Splash come to mind.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
What's your
I
name?
My real name.
just realized I was muted.
oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So he sets the last piece down, and a few seconds later, you see his eyes like moving back and forth, like he's going over the information. And once he's done, he looks up and he's like, "Well, the
Looks like he's having
information,
a seizure."
yeah, the information of note here would be that she received a letter in 1980 from a Sean Fitzpatrick. Does that name mean anything to you, Komori?
No.
It seemed as if he was ranting at her, questioning why she had left him in such a hurry. Seemed to be an educated individual and excellent penmanship. Didn't use a typewriter.
I honestly wasn't interested in my mom's work very much. So I have no idea.
Understood.
Jerome,
Yes.
is Sean Fitzpatrick, or however you said that last name, would he have come up in any of the circles at all that I might have been in?
No.
Even though I have the genetics background?
No.
Okay. I was going to roll to see if I knew his name, so.
Oh yeah. No.
should we try and find a phone book from wherever and see if there's somebody in there?
If he's still around and is going under the same name, Mainframe, are you able to find anything through the internet regarding a Sean Fitzpatrick in the Strongford area?
Oh, it was in Strongford.
He says affirmative. There is a previous address and rattles off the same address that's on the envelope.
Where, Jerome, since I'm familiar with the city, would I recognize what part of town that's in?
You certainly would.
How far is it from here?
Let me get that pulled back up. Oopsie. I got my notes pulled up, but not my books.
Whoops. Yep.
Here we go. All right. So, from where you are at, and Strongford in particular, my address is here. All right. So, it was actually on. It was on the other side of town. It's a quiet suburb by the name of Winterfield.
Well, it's in the suburbs across town, but I think we should go check it out.
I agree.
But maybe not all of us. I mean, maybe the two of you should go and we'll watch from the street, cloaked. I think it might be a little overwhelming with all of us.
Makes sense. All right. Everyone get ready. Shone, would you be able to teleport us there, or should we use the spaceship?
No, I think I can take us.
I think Abby had a question.
No, I was scratching my head.
Okay.
So Shone, you're going to do a blind teleport?
Should I bring a garbage can?
Well, no, because she would have to get a visual.
She would need to know where she was going, and she has no visual of this location. So if you want to teleport there blindly, take everybody with you, I'm all for it.
Or
You can map quest it.
Or we could just drive like regular people.
That's so boring.
Thought.
I think Shone would be like, the whole way there.
Lightbringer, do you think we should actually arrive in civilian clothing, or should we arrive as the Legacy?
No, I think it would be prudent to be there. Well, I think probably individuals would be better, because if this person happens to be involved in the SPB scene, then that's one thing, but I don't know. What we're really after is, well, related to your regular identities, right? Dr. Rostenkowski is not known to be involved in the SPB milieu, so probably it would be best to hide that aspect of the reasons that we're asking until it becomes important.
I will be right back.
What do you all think?
He's out of uniform. He double taps his watch and
Right.
Whoa, I didn't know you guys could do that.
It's a fancy tech from.
she's gonna see who we are anyways when we go up to that
Fancy
front
tech.
door.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I would be wearing this, but no, I'm not gonna.
If we arrived as civilians, then we would need reason to be there, to be talking to him. The main would, of course, be Komore's trying to determine exactly what happened to her mother. Perhaps I could act as somebody helping with that specifically, since my original identity is technically classified. No one knows of my true original identity other than you, all of you here.
I don't think there would be anything strange about just saying that Komori has been going through her mother's things and found this address and was curious to hear more about her mother's life and the people in it.
That
And
makes sense.
Perhaps you're just her friend assisting in the search.
Excellent.
Very above board, very simple.
And true.
And true. Even better.
Since we're just speaking to, I would think, one individual, assuming Sean is at his home now and still there, perhaps Komore and I can simply head there ourselves in a car. The rest of you, if you're able to locate Dr. October in any way, see if we can actually apprehend him. He has technically gone against our deal. And now that he's shown to be violent and willing to murder, we need to stop him. Are we at least agreed on that?
Yes.
Excellent. Are we agreed that we are not willing to sacrifice human lives to apprehend him?
Yes.
All right. Then we should be off, and Hyperion goes ahead and hits his watch.
Is it
his
assumed
close
that
change.
I set up my my DNA analysis and I've been involved in this conversation? Because last I if we don't assume that, then I haven't been privy to any of this.
I don't fully understand your question.
Well, when we first got back to the vein,
Mm-hmm.
I was going to DNA to analyze the hair sample.
Okay, and what were you looking for?
Just confirming anything and see if we could find any matches with of who this person is, or if there are any links, or if there is any other familial bonds at all. You know, I mean, theoretically,
Sure.
sister, brother, you know, anything along those lines.
I mean,
But-
if that's what you're doing, then yes, you're in the ship right now,
Right.
doing
Okay.
genetic work.
Mhm.
So go ahead and roll your reason. I think you have biology, so
Mhm.
that will bump your reason up a column shift.
So I am. What's 40? Is that IN?
Yep. IN 40.
Nice.
Yeller.
Okay. So after reviewing these samples of hair that you've managed to obtain, you can confirm that there is a partial match to Komori.
A partial match. Is it
It's never going to be 100%. You would know that in genetics because
right?
she's the product of two different people. So it's going to have
Right.
a partial match, which is enough of a marker to say one of her relatives is related to her, whoever this came from.
So this is a relative of hers. Is it close enough to say that this is a parent?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And were the genetics marked as female or male?
Female. Go ahead and converse. Be right back.
Interesting. Out of character.
Yeah.
Well, at least we have some of my mom's real DNA now.
We do.
Our moms, sorry.
What was the scan done on? Was it the original, like just the scan? Was it done on the body or what? Because I thought we had determined that it wasn't.
It was on found in in the storage unit amongst other things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So like a stray hair kind of a thing.
Oh, okay. So that one is confirmed to be your mother.
Yeah.
The one from the corpse was found that it was not your mother.
Right.
Right.
Some shady stuff going on.
Hmm.
Oh.
So our next course of action is what?
You and I will be traveling in civilian clothing to this address in Winterfield, where Sean Fitzpatrick apparently currently resides. He would
Okay.
be the next link in the chain to see what he knows about Dr. Rustinkowski.
Well, can we go now?
We can, if you're ready. Do you feel okay?
Well, empty stomach. But sure. I'd rather not teleport again if we don't have to, though.
That's fine. We can drive. It shouldn't be too far.
Okay, I don't have a license or a car. So...
I have both. I'll drive.
Okay.
So
big brother to the rescue.
Brother sister bonding trip?
Yay. Road trip. No. So yeah, so Mark and Komore get in his car and start heading to Sean Fitzpatrick's place.
Okay,
And
the rest of you are staying
Komori
at
does
the Vane?
her disguise thing.
Right, and the rest of you are staying at the Vane, or
The rest of us were supposed to see about locating Dr. October.
gotcha. How are we going to do that?
Ending. Should we do a drive-by at the house from the other night?
I don't think we need to do any more criminal action.
I meant literally drive-by.
Without the automatic weapons. Okay.
If you think that'll work, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Are we driving or teleporting?
You know what? I think we could probably teleport just fine.
Okay. So she'll teleport everybody when they're ready.
Okay, so we'll get to you guys in just a second. Speaking of which, Sean, why don't you give me an intuition check?
Okay. Monstrous is what? What is that?
MN.
Is that it?
MN.
M- MM or MN?
MN. Mike Nancy.
Okay.
For the drive-by, are we going in costume or not in costume?
Ooh, my first white feet.
All right.
Oh, thanks. Rub it in.
I vote yes in costume.
Just saying, I've got white feet.
Then back
Too,
in
so.
costume.
So
They're like
If I
pasty white
ever
feet.
get my own costume, I have to have a white shoes for white feet.
okay.
Sorry, pun.
Because they don't have black feet on here.
So the two of you drive across town to that address. It is an older neighborhood, but the neighborhood is still pretty nice. It is a suburb on the outskirts of town, so it's not in Strongford proper, obviously, but it still bears the name.
Okay.
Most of the homes here look like they were probably built in the 50s and 60s. So they've definitely got an older feel to it. But most of the neighborhood, people clearly care about their lawns, keeping the place cleaned up so it doesn't look run down really at all. Just older homes. So you pull up to the address. The home itself appears to be for sale.
Does it look like
Another for sale sign.
Does it look like anyone still lives here, or does it look like the house is empty?
Good question. Why don't you both give me an intuition check?
Intuition. Gringo.
Green for me.
And
Oh, yay!
And green for her.
Okay. So you're looking around. It doesn't appear. I mean, when you walk up to the house, it doesn't appear that anybody's living there. And in fact, you get close enough and you look in, like just in between the space between curtains. It looks like it's empty.
Okay.
On the inside, like it's waiting for somebody else to basically move in. Komori, on the other hand, your sonar is picking up picking up movement across the street.
There's something over there.
Turn to look to see if I can see what she's hearing.
Okay. Go ahead and roll another perception check or intuition.
Yellow feet.
Okay. So as you look around, you can see that the curtain on the house directly across the street is starting to close, but it wasn't open very far.
Yeah. Perhaps the person who lives there has information about what's happened here recently.
I go talk to him.
Exactly. Let's go ahead and go over there. Head to that person's front door.
Okay.
Knock, knock, knock.
This is a nice yellow and white looking house, 2 stories with a 1.5 car garage. Would have been ideal. Probably had the white picket fence at one point in time, but they took it down.
Gotcha.
So you knock on the door, and there's a messing with the latch. At one point, you can hear somebody trying to unlatch it, and then the door opens up just a bit. Older looking man, probably mid-50s. Or I should say middle-aged at that point. And he kind of looks at you. He's a little overweight. And he's looking at you from behind his door, and he says, "What do you want?"
Sorry to bother you, sir. My friend here, Komori, and I'm Mark, by the way. We were trying to find an old friend who might have some information we needed. Did you know the person across the street?
Kind of looks at you for a second. He says, "You mean the old Fitzpatrick house?"
Correct. Sean Fitzpatrick. We thought that he might still live here. Do you know anything about him?
Yeah, he says, "No. Rumor has it he died many years back."
Do you know what year?
I don't know what year it was. I don't keep up on those sorts of things. Some sort of accident at work.
I see. Do you know what he did for a living, perchance?
And so he's looking around. Why don't you, since you're not in costume, roll your popularity.
Okay. Let's see here. Oh. Shift 0, right? Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Oh boy, here we go. White feet. Oh, what a surprise.
Yeah, what a surprise.
Is it really?
So he at that point he shrugs and he says, "Listen, I don't know who you are or what it is you want. Why don't you just get off my lawn and pretend you just weren't here?"
Could I use my pheromones to try and convince him to talk to us?
You certainly could.
Ooh,
Oh, you got pheromones.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's cool.
It's weird. Cool.
What? It's weird cool.
It's bat gas.
What do I roll for that?
That is your the power rank. So
Okay,
whatever you have
cool.
for that.
Okay.
What was his name in X-Men? He had the Russian guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
the
talking about
pheromone.
Omega Red.
Omega Red, yeah.
He had the death pheromones.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's why Wolvie was the only one that could fight him because his
Oh yeah,
healing factor.
trust me, I remember Omega Red. I love him. He's
Yeah.
one of my favorite villains.
I was picturing him in my head, and I'm like, God, what's his name?
Okay, what'd you get, Kamori?
I got a green feet.
All right. So what do you say?
I will say, please, sir, this is the only link to my mom. I'm trying to find her. Can you please talk to us? Anything you know about Fitzpatrick would be helpful.
And so he pauses for a second, and you can tell, oddly enough, because you've had to use this enough times to like get out of trouble or to get by or whatnot. You can kind of tell like his eyes get a little dilated, and you're like,
Yeah.
got him, sort of thing. Like you got a visual confirmation that he's under your pharmatic sway.
Okay.
And he says, "You're Sean's kid? He had a kid?"
No, but he knew my mom, and he's the only link. She went missing years ago.
Who's your
And
mom?
he's Alice Rostenkowski.
And he's like, "I remember her." He says, I have no idea why I'm giving away this information like this. It's kind of weird. Like you're familiar somehow. I know I went to a barbecue with them, across the way for a bit. Then
What else can you?
something happened with Sean. He, I guess they had some sort of accident at work, and your mom packed up and left.
So she lived here.
For a bit, yeah.
What?
Yeah. He kind of briefly, describes her a bit. Sounds about right for somebody at that age. Obviously not exactly, because you knew your mother, in a different part of life.
Right. For work. What did he do for work?
Oh.
Sean.
Oh, yeah. They knew each other from Shadestone Incorporated.
Is that nearby?
Yeah, but you're probably going to have trouble contacting anybody. I guess there's a big superhero villain attack or something that happened downtown.
Yes, we heard about that on the radio. So then, is it your understanding that Alice Rostenkowski worked at Shadestone as well? They worked at the same company.
No, I know they did. They didn't talk about it they let it slide at one point, that they didn't talk about it at work, but yeah, I mean, folks around here knew.
See. Jerome, looking through Kumore's birth certificate, what year was she born?
That is a great question. So
she is 19 right now.
There you go. In Vietnam, it was 19.
19. Okay.
So 94 right now.
19.
75. Okay.
She's just a little bit older than I am in real life.
Did you ever know them to have children? Did they ever have a child that you know of?
He shrugs. He's like, no, not that I know of. But like I said, Sean passed away and she left, so I guess maybe that negated the possibility. I don't know.
I see. Well, he turns to Komore. Did you have any other further questions?
I don't think so. Thank you, sir, so much for your time. It's nice to hear about people that knew my mom.
Yeah, sure. No problem. I'm sorry that your mom, went missing or whatnot. You wouldn't happen to have her recipe for crab cakes, would you?
No, I don't. I didn't even know she could cook, really.
And she had a couple things she could do. That was one of them. Anyways,
Seems
it
like
was a
she
long
was-
shot.
Seems like she was a rather impressive woman. Thank you for your time, sir. We appreciate it.
Yeah. No problem, Mr. Man.
Mark.
Or Mark.
Mr. Man.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. And it closes the door, and you can hear the chain locking and whatnot.
So then, as we're walking back across the street towards the car, Mark looks to Komori and says, I can see within the closed house to see if there's anything within, but I'm not sure there would be. It might be prudent of us, if possible, to see if they left anything there that nobody else has found.
It has been a long time though.
It has.
Since my mom's been our mom has been there. Sure. I mean, I can turn us invisible or attempt to.
Let me see if I can find anything first, and then if we need to enter physically, you can turn us invisible.
Okay.
Bear with me a moment. And so he leans up against the car, and he's going to have a copy appear just within the for sale house.
Mhm.
And it'll look like I'll have it look like Hyperion in his armor rather than Mark in his suit.
Okay.
So then he'll have the copy in there, and I'm going to have it move around and see if there's anything out of the ordinary, any like secret buttons. Did they have a layer or something, or an underground whatever, hiding stuff? Anything you can find.
Sure. Go ahead and roll your intuition. While you're doing that, so those of you who teleported, you guys pop over to the house. You end up popping into the backyard and materialize directly in the clothesline. So with a yelp of pain from everyone, you end up taking 10 points of damage as, of course, the clotheslines out there don't snap and dematerialize, to an extent, as part of it fused with you in a brief second.
How?
And it goes through the armor as well.
Oh yeah,
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
that was on a molecular level, unfortunately. Yep, that bypasses all armor.
I'm glad I'm not there.
Are you two okay?
You would have come with us.
We have a really bad signal right now with Derek for some reason.
Oh, okay.
No, that's perfect. That's wonderful.
I love
You would
that
have
look.
come with us.
That's pretty good.
Does not compute.
Say what?
The elevator got stuck.
You froze right after I said that, and then you
Oh.
dropped out of the chat.
I was
Back in the call for you guys.
losing Justin and Brittany.
Oh, yeah, we would
Interesting.
have brought you with us.
1 second.
My signal
was
is
funny.
showing green right now, so
What's that?
my signal is showing green right now.
Yep.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, everybody. For
And
most
now
part is-
yellow.
Oh, now yellow.
Oh, well, I was going to say
Now
everybody on my side looks good. The only one I had a problem with was Derek for a bit. He kept dipping down.
Oh,
Okay, I'm good now. I can see Derek again.
Derek-y. So yeah,
Okay.
we would have brought you.
Not a bat gas.
So back in game.
well,
I exercised the 12-year-old in me.
So did Xenofreeze go with, or did he remain behind?
I found out everything I needed to as far as the genetics
Uh-huh.
portion. Oh, okay. Then yeah, I would have gone along.
Okay. So 10 points of damage.
Well, that sucks.
What a nice gift.
You were in the backyard of the house.
Can I do an
It's-
empathy check?
Is
to see-
the mechanical dog anywhere?
Oh yeah, mechanical dog is out there and sees you guys and is growling.
Can I do an empathy check to see if anybody's in the house?
Sure.
Let us try. Supers rolls. Exclamation roll. That would be a psyche, right?
Yes.
Yellow.
Nice. You pick up nothing in the house. It's a blank spot.
I'm not getting any human emotion from the house, so presumably nobody's home. Nobody.
Was that lady
Emotional damage!
Was she real or was she mechanical as well?
You see the back door open at this point as you guys are debating. Of course, the dog is growling and barking, and you see the lady, open up the door. She's got a double barrel shotgun at this point.
Can I cloak us? We should have done that sooner.
A little late, but you can still attempt to.
Okay.
This feels like obfuscating yourself once the prince sees you.
Well, we can obfuscate and then okay. Also yellow. We can cloak and then move.
Okay. So you cloak everybody at this point, and you hear her shout out at you as you do, and she says, "Oh, we got motion detectors."
Those see through my illusions?
You all better come out before I start blasting. And she, drops some odd-looking shells into the shotgun.
I'm going to freeze the shotgun.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I roll for that?
We're going to be in combat at this point, so go ahead and roll your agility to target and blast.
Agility? Okay.
Yep.
He stays
Yellow.
motionless.
All right, so you throw up a projection of ice at this point, and encase part of her and the gun at this point in ice. And we are now.
I just wanted to ice the gun.
Right, and do you remember what you have for a power rank?
Yeah. So it went overboard.
Oh yeah.
I thought I'd gotten it under control. So.
Yeah. So, well, she's holding on to it. You're still going to you're going to freeze not only the weapon but like the arms and whatnot of the individual holding it. It's not like it just freezes the item and somehow the ice doesn't affect the individual holding it. So.
I was hoping that she would drop it at that point.
So you do that, and at that point you hear woof woof woof, and the dog responds by attempting to bite Ixion. Let me get my dice out. There we go.
Am I visible?
You are now to fired ice.
Oh.
Really? I mean, it's not like obfuscate.
No, it's not. But ice projecting from one particular area, and
Okay,
she
that's
did
fair.
indicate they have motion sensors.
I suppose that's fair.
Okay. Not terrible, but not terribly great. Okay. So this dog clamps down on your leg,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to take 30 points of damage, minus anything you have, of course, for armor.
30.
Yes.
Now you guys have to face the dog.
Doesn't feel
Oh.
great, does it?
I got. So I did. I've got 20 total of 30 damage now.
Okay.
Need to take the dog home.
We're
Initiative.
at the top of the round at this point. Go ahead and roll d10s.
Yeah, I did it again. 6.
How do you do it?
/R space. And then it'll ask you command and then 1d10. At least we know she can short out the doggo.
Yeah.
You said 8, Derek?
Yeah.
Okay. Shown.
What is that? Somebody tapping?
Forgot I was muted. 9.
9. Okay.
Oh, we're running initiative.
Yes,
Yep.
we are.
Yeah.
I mean, if y'all just stood still, if they didn't have motion, even if they have motion detection, they wouldn't have caught us.
Six. Brittany and Justin are tied.
Oh. All right. So top of the round at this point. The lady who had the weapon frozen over, and of course part of her hands, you see that she makes like a motion with her hands and snaps out of the ice at this point. And something protrudes from her forearm. The dog at this point, since Xenofreeze can be seen and it has a hold of him, proceeds to ragdoll him.
Well, sucker's on 10s.
Like dogs would do, just like. Okay, so you end up taking another 30 points of damage as the dog at this point. It's clear the dog is way stronger than a normal dog would be, and it's got a hold of Xenofreeze's leg and is basically ragdolling him back and forth in the lawn, like just like just complete back and forth.
The dog has the Toon Force.
Yes.
I have no idea what that is.
It's Looney Tune physics.
Oh yes, there you
go. People who do versus battles call it Toon Force, where you do like stupidly impossible stuff.
Oh yeah, never heard that term, but visually apt. So
Okay.
we are now at 9 shown.
Oh, it's a cute puppy, but I'm going to have to zap it.
It's not a puppy.
It's not very cute either.
So, well, she wants to take it home.
Do
It's
you
a
want to set-
robot.
Please do
She's
not.
going to short circuit it.
Okay, so you are going to fire electricity at it. Go ahead and roll your agility.
Can she just touch it?
No, you cannot reach out and just touch it.
Okay. Yeah, because she's just going to do a direct current. Okay, so AM. And a red feet. She just
Damn.
short circuited it.
Did you roll your agility?
Oh, my agility. No, I
That's what I
sorry.
asked you to
I
roll.
actually, yeah,
I-
I don't know what I was doing.
Can she keep her 96?
I need her to re-roll. I asked her to roll for agility.
Yeah. Unearthly is what? UE?
UN, I believe it should be
UN,
the dice
okay.
spot.
You got to be freaking kidding me.
Is it white?
On an unearthly. Nice. Okay. So your electricity shot falls harmlessly onto the ground. Close, but didn't quite catch him. So Xenofreeze.
Mm-hmm. Frozen puppy dog.
Okay. Go ahead.
I mean,
go ahead and roll your agility at this point. It is going to be a little awkward because you're being ragdolled.
can I do it to where, because I'm immune to my own cold, if I iced myself up, would that still entail the agility?
Yes, it would.
Yellow.
Okay. So you quickly start turning yourself into an ice brick, and then starting to freeze the dog on top of it. So there's like this big, giant clump of ice in the backyard at this point with Ixion and the dog. We are now at Angler and Lightbringer.
Stupid dog.
So the dog is currently incapacitated?
That is a great question.
What weapon did the nice little housekeeper pop out with?
Well, it's something, like I said, it's something protruding from her forearm.
Like another shotgun?
No, it doesn't look like a shotgun.
She's very cyberpunk.
But it's clearly mechanical.
It is, yes.
I am
It says
going
DQ was here on the side.
Ouch.
Teardrop.
You're right.
On Wednesday, you're gonna get one last
Soliloquy?
yeah, that funny word.
Bless you.
Let's do it. I'm going to shoot whatever's on her arm with some plasma.
Okay, that is a called shot. Go ahead and roll your agility.
Would people be upset if I use some of our points to bump this up by 30?
I would go ahead.
We have
Nope.
100 available, so sure, go for it.
Okay. Roll.
I don't think it'll let you put a bonus to it, so just add that on top of whatever you get.
Just call it.
Yeah.
That's a 91.
Ooh.
So that's
That's-
gonna bump it up into the red. Or no,
It's a high yellow.
Yeah, yellow. Sorry.
For a EX, yeah, you're yellow.
So, in this brief instance where everything is happening, and I need Lightbringer's action, but Angler, you end up projecting this. You said bolt of plasma, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, wham! So you fire off this bolt of plasma, and you end up bifurcating the woman, and it's like sizzling and sparkling, and like some fluid, draining out, spurting out from one side as it just collapses down and is kind of melting at this point from the blast of plasma. And there's a big hole in the back of the house now.
Even if I was trying to control it just to hit the one thing.
What's your power rank?
Good point. That's the reason I was saying I was trying to aim for just the one thing, and I figured I'd have enough control over my power.
You absolutely got it, yes. And the rest of her body and the house.
Hooray for plasma.
Welcome to my world.
You're in a world made of cardboard.
Okay, can I tell, or have I been able to notice a on this dog, like where the control area would be? I'm thinking like a power cell
no,
or
but you could guess.
Okay, I'm gonna try and blast that area with UV.
Okay, so first, give me a reason check. This is kind of like your guess as
Intuiting.
if, yeah, kind of like, okay, well, if I made it, where would it be?
I like how Shelley is like so distraught over destroying this robotic artificial dog.
Oh, but he blew up half the house. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, you said a
This
reason
dog
check?
is ripping the leg off of my brother, but
It'll grow back.
Exclamation point.
Oh, stink it. Okay.
Son of a gun.
Nice. Woohoo.
You got a what?
98.
98.
Oh, yikes. Okay, so now go ahead and roll your agility check for your blast.
White. Oh, gosh.
I know your pain.
Okay.
I have accidentally cursed you all. I'm so
So,
sorry.
I'm
so
gonna
there's
blame
this,
the dice bot.
there's this searing sound of energy as it strikes and sears along the ground, missing the dog unit. Now that we are at the top of the round, you see all the neighborhood lights start going on. And it's clear people are starting to come out to take a look.
Bad puppy, stop.
Are we-
Heal.
The dog at this point is going to try to continue. Actually, no. It is frozen
Yeah.
inside
It's in a block of ice. Yeah.
xenofreeze. So it's going to try and just bite, which is all it really can do. It can't ragdoll him. It's just a big block. So, and it doesn't take much to do that. So another 30 points.
Would I not have more resilience because I am also frozen?
No, that's not how being in a block of ice works.
Well,
If he was on-
his
if he was
jaw
on
would
the-
be
if he was
frozen
on
too.
the frozen to you.
But if he's encased, it would hinder his movement.
Okay,
I'm just
so
trying to justify
I know
it now.
I know what you're trying to get at. If he was on the outside, this ice would have preventative measures because it's an extra layer. He's inside of you, grinding down on you because you've frozen him with you. So you're still taking that damage.
Okay.
sounds, of course, are muffled because it's inside the ice. The robot is down. It fizzles, just and molting a little bit more from plasma. So we are at Shone.
Fido, heal! Stop!
So is that what you're saying to
That's what she's saying to him.
the block of ice?
She's just going to teleport all of them back to the vein, including the dog.
Okay. That is not a. Give me a simple agility check. Just need a green result. Only
Okay.
because you're doing it in a hurry.
Okay.
That's actually not a terrible idea.
It's a horrible idea. The damn thing has a tracker in its head.
Well, we can pulverize it somewhere in the vein.
And a 97.
Okay.
Red feet. There at the vein.
That's not a problem. You've been around the vein plenty of times. You're like, that's a safe haven. You did not give the okay to let mainframe know ahead of time. So as soon as you get there, loud klaxons start, ringing. You actually only get to the very edge of the bay section where there's like a little small edge where the barrier that prevents teleportation from coming in. So you're like right there, and in fact, so everybody gets back to the vein, no problem.
Are we still in initiative?
Technically, but as that happened on your turn, so everybody, poof, real quick, you're like right on the very edge on the outside of the vein, like where the mountain's at. Xenofreeze and the dog, because they're this big block of ice, start tumbling down the mountainside.
Ah!
Okay.
Somebody go get him!
Rocket's engaged.
This will, of course, break up the ice. We're at Xenofreeze's initiative. The dog is still a hold of you. You haven't taken any damage from the fall. The ice actually absorbed all that.
Okay. All right. See if I can't go into an ice slide and hopefully I don't know if I can just going like this and leaving him behind, hopefully entrapped.
Well, that's doing two things at once, and you don't. That's not something you would have the fighting for. So you can either attempt to try and refreeze him, even though he's, connected to your leg already, or you can attempt to save yourself and kind of slide surf with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, slide surf with him then.
Okay. So give me an agility check at this point.
Hello.
Okay. So you quickly at this point, with something you've been working on now for some time, drop down like enough ice to kind of ramp and then start sliding and curving, and you actually put a little bit of a curve to it, so you're not it's not like a direct slope sort of thing, so you kind of embank to prevent yourself from going straight down. So this really awkward thing that the rest of you guys see, he's basically kind of surf sliding with this dog attached to his leg, and he's just kind of going down along the side of this mountain. If it didn't hurt so much, it would be kind of rad. So at this point, Angler and Lightbringer.
I'm going to try to fly and catch up with them. Maybe with the intent to try and grab my brother.
Okay. So flying at this point is not an issue. Picking him up, however, may be difficult because it's him and the dog.
I'll try.
But if you, but yeah, I mean, even if you fly and just catch him, you know, if somebody can do something about the dog, you've still got that much. So,
Actually, wait. Should I try and blast the dog, or should I try and catch my brother?
well,
Catch
your
him.
brother right now is in a real gnarly slide.
Okay, then I'll try and catch him.
No, I mean he's going to be okay. He's sliding.
Oh.
Mentally,
Okay.
you're actually projecting surf music right now.
Oh, okay.
I just got a great white attached to my ankle.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Like fun gnarly, not
Exactly, yeah.
horrendous gnarly.
Yeah, no. He had enough presence of mind to throw down a slide and basically put up an embankment. So he's not like tumbling down. He actually hit the slide and kind of banked, and then his descent is much more gradual and controlled.
Okay, then I will try to blast the dog
Okay.
instead.
Pew-pew!
Green.
Okay.
Yay!
So this time, and you have an IN40, right?
AM 50.
Oh, ow, that's right. Okay, so whoosh.
And you rolled IN.
Yeah, my power level.
Yeah.
Oh.
AM 50.
Yeah, so you strike the so you end up striking that the robot in a rough vicinity where you think something important modular wise, or like a control unit or something. The beam cuts straight through it, punches out the other side, strikes the slide a bit, but nothing to be concerned about. And at that point, like the dog unit just goes limp and is like kind of sliding alongside Xenofreeze at this point.
Poor puppy.
Okay, so we need to figure out where the GPS is and disable that.
Well, we're out of initiative, but Angler, you're up.
He's gonna fly down to them, and how latched on is the dog at this point?
Not
Like if I tried to pull it off and
Oh yeah, no, you're fine.
melted it. He takes it off his arm and he begins melting it in his hands
Okay, well, it's on his leg, but
or leg.
it's like sliding alongside him at this point. So doing that is not a problem. So you just basically focus are you focusing plasma or heat?
Plasma.
Okay.
I'm melting this thing. There's not going to be a
Sure.
thing left for Dr. October to use.
Okay. So then Angler real quickly comes in and just starts focusing kind of like a ball of plasma energy, and it's just like melting within the span of a minute. It's just nothing but slag.
Is there any? Do I need to cloak any of what's happening right now?
Oh no. Remember, the vein is
So nobody. It's remote enough that
yeah.
there's nobody around to see it.
Oh no, not unless there were some hikers or something. But
Okay.
This isn't one of those popular places.
Great. Ixion, do you need a hand to get back up top?
It would be greatly appreciated, considering I have taken some substantial damage to my leg.
You have indeed, and I'm not sure how well I can help with that, but let's
Because he
take a look.
doesn't really bleed. His leg right now looks like a Gumby that that got mashed and never reformed.
So I'll
Oh no.
I'll reach him out a hand and pull him back
Okay.
up to the.
I mean, the weird thing is he could still walk on it. It's just it looks horribly malformed right now.
Mangled.
By the way, that reference would only have worked with this crew.
What?
Gumby thing.
Gumby.
Yes.
Gumby?
Gumby.
Our next enemy, blockheads.
Blockheads.
Our new arch nemesis.
That's right.
Good times.
Well, judging by the fact that once we do get back into the vein, I am going to kind of just take it easy a little bit, but I'm going to eat because I know we have my
Yeah.
you know, my synthesized food, because I know that I need that to aid in my own self regeneration,
Sure.
so to
Okay.
speak.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Teleporting back to the vein should not be our end all result to escape a fight.
Hey, I was under pressure, okay?
But now Dr. October may know where our base is.
And
Along with
also,
mainframe.
we just left a pretty gruesome scene for the neighbors to find. So I
I
don't
do
know.
not see how gruesome it would be. It would be molten metal.
Well, I mean, presumably they thought she was a human.
And they find a robot.
And they're going to know somebody did that to the robot.
Yes, and Dr. October probably is going to have a good idea because half of that body before we teleported out was slag.
So what do we do?
Oh, you guys want to go back?
You know, maybe we should call Hyperion.
You took the words out of my mouth.
We need our leader.
We messed up.
I leave for 5 minutes. No.
Out of character. Hyperion, the vein is burning down currently. We tried to make macaroni and cheese.
Failed.
I rolled a 1 on my culinary skill.
I don't know how, but the metal is on fire.
Sean, the teleport was a good idea. It was the location that I'm upset about because this is our home.
Well, maybe we'll get lucky and he wasn't able to pull any information and the dog is gone.
So at this point, you guys have finished up at, exploring the house. Well, what did you get, Hyperion?
I got a white result,
Okay,
so didn't find anything.
You didn't see anything that stand out in the ordinary outside of the fact that this house, it's the asking price is just right.
Okay.
But beyond that, there isn't anything else really to find as far as you can tell. And that's when you end up getting a message on your comm link. Hyperion.
I will sub-vocalize. Hyperion, here is something wrong.
Can you come back to the vein? We have a problem.
And yes, he will literally do that. So Komore sees that. And then go, yes, we'll be back soon. We've just finished up here. He says that out loud, so Komore hears that.
Is something wrong?
Something has apparently happened at the vein. We need to head back quickly to see what's happening.
Okay. Can you fly?
I can't. We'll need to drive back.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys are on your way back. You're those of you who are at the vein, taking a moment to wait for Hyperion and Komori to come back. Hyperion, as you guys are driving, there's a news flash on the radio. They apparently Hoplite security and the police have been called in on a random deviant attack. Took place, in a quiet suburb of just on the outside of Petaluma, which is the financial district. and they state that apparently there was some sort of fight, possible break-in. They don't have a whole lot of details, but it looks like there was a lot of confusion. Somebody blasted a hole in the house. Another individual is presumed dead at this point, as they were pulling a body out of the way. And Tony Pope is having a field day with this.
Okay.
You ranting and raving at this point about why we need the registration of deviants at this point, how this could have been stopped, if people, if there was some sort of grand equalizer, in the thing. And so yeah, it's getting ugly.
So while that's going on, he's gonna subvocalize and ask Mainframe to just start playing that broadcast over the intercom in the vein, so that the rest of them can hear.
Okay.
Shown by this moment is pouting and has gone to her room.
I'm cooking lunch. He wants waffles.
How can you eat at a time like this?
What can we do?
They're sympathy waffles.
There you go.
I'm stress eating because of you.
That's literally what he does. He starts making waffles.
That is like my favorite quote from Big Hero 6.
Oh, right.
I love that Freddy's coping mechanism is to cook.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hairy baby.
It's either that or he tears up the danger room.
So at this point, Komori and Hyperion get back.
Yeah.
And you're hearing another loop of like the broadcast at this point.
Okay. Yeah, so head in. When I get into the vein, Hyperion hits his watch, so his armor comes back on. And whoever is in like the conference room at this point, I guess the conference / like computer room, who would be there?
I don't know. Shone is not there. Lightbringer, did you?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
probably be.
So everybody is there except for Shone right now.
Okay.
I'm in the kitchen cooking waffles for everybody.
And in the morning, I'm making waffles.
I know, that's exactly what was going through my head too.
So he walks up to Lightbringer and says, "Can you please explain what happened?"
A series of unfortunate events occurred.
Slow down there, Lemony Snicket.
That's what I was about ready to say. Yep.
Butter on the table. Syrup.
We botched the teleport, set off security, tried to disable the housekeeper and the dog, ended up dismembering the housekeeper, who actually was a robot, panic teleported back to the vein, took care of the dog,
of whom was trying to eat my leg. As I'm like,
he looks
Right. I see.
Your Gumby leg.
and
my Gumby leg.
and inadvertently left the scene for the neighbors to find.
That sounds bad.
I'm not sure how that could have been much worse, frankly.
Were any of you actually seen, or did this occur not in the front yard of that location?
It was in the backyard, but obviously Dr. October will know that it was up us. I assume he has cameras were probably
And his housekeeper is slag.
right.
But she was a robotic form, not a person.
Right.
All right.
Apparently. We
If
may
not,
have
humans have oil in them now, and I didn't know about it.
compromised the location of the vein by bringing the dog here. I'm not sure if we dispatched it soon enough.
That's
Is there
slag as
anything?
well.
Is there any? Then there's nothing left to recover from the dog.
No.
It's a shame.
There's nothing left of the dog.
If it wasn't at the vein, I would have done my very best to disable it without destroying it.
Right.
Right.
Too bad you can't have waffles. He sits down, 3 high, butter, tons of syrup.
I think we all need to rest for the rest of the night while we regroup and try to determine how to function as a team.
minus 20 karma from the karma pool for property damage.
Oh God.
Do we need to multiply that as well, or is that just 20? We do. Okay.
Dang it.
Okay. That means we have no more available karma. It's just banked karma.
What do you mean? Who
Because
used
5
other
times
karma?
20 is 100.
Oh, it's
Oh.
multiplied?
Minus the 30 points that who used the 30 points? Was it Freddie?
Freddie.
Yeah.
Yep.
To,
I
to
mean-
make
So
sure
it's
I
20
hit the
it's
target
20
and not hit anybody else.
It brings our available down to 0. So we have
It's-
banked. So that bank stuff is of course safe, but we don't have
Right. Okay.
available now.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I shouldn't have tasked the entire team to accomplish something so delicate without my being there.
I think maybe we needed a better plan than just to go there. Sorry about that too.
It's all right. No one was injured without being able to heal. I'm sorry, Ixion, for your injuries. Is there anything we can do?
It was only a matter of time. I have eaten, and my body will naturally regenerate. I could probably see about doing a few things on my ship to expedite the process, but nothing much more.
I see. If you need anything, please let me know. Well, on our end, we did find some information. Not much. Apparently, let's see. Oops, where'd his name go? Sean Fitzpatrick was deceased years ago. It seems that he and our mother had a relationship and lived at that location. They both also
worked at Shadestone.
What?
Correct. This is according to an individual across the street who has lived there for some time and has actually spent time with Dr. Rostenkowski and Mr. Fitzpatrick. According to him, they both worked at Shadestone for a time. Mr. Fitzpatrick died somehow in an accident at work. Shortly after that, she left. And it seems that the house has been up for sale ever since. We unfortunately weren't able to find anything at the location.
Why does everything seem to come back to Shadestone?
They're not a good company. Oh,
I agree with what Freddie attempted to say. Not a good company. Clearly, they have their fingers dipped in dastardly deeds.
Angler is suddenly Gabby Johnson from Blazing Saddles. Hey,
I haven't seen Blazing Saddles in such a long time.
no, Fraser Frigga. What he said. Right.
Mainframe, can you check newspaper records for an obituary for Sean Fitzpatrick?
Affirmative.
I wonder if there's a way that we could look through Shadestone employment records or incident reports to find out what
as
they
Lightbringer is saying that, sorry, I'll let you continue just a second. Hyperion, roll resources check.
Oh boy. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I mean, theoretically, it would be public record stuff. I'm not asking for like FBI reports.
Green feet.
Okay.
Woo.
No, but again, most of that is not digitized.
Pre.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wouldn't find. I mean, at best, you might get a hold of like the top officers of the company.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It wouldn't go much further than that, and that even then, at that point, because the internet is still just so slowly becoming a thing, you might only find them out through like news articles and whatnot. So, all right. So as you've made that that suggestion, Mainframe concurs. Money has been dispatched.
Okay. I have an old coworker at Shadestone that was. I'm not sure he would have access to those records at the company, but I'm not I'm not sure that he would be able to look it up anyway because of the accident that the building is in right now. But do you think it's worth making a call?
To your friend who still works at Shadestone. Can you trust him?
I mean, yes, but I would still try to be. I mean, I wouldn't tell him why I'm asking, or at least not the real reason why I'm asking.
True, but the content you're asking for may raise alarm. Do you know how loyal he is to Shadestone?
Just the normal amount, I would guess.
When you were working there, were you aware with any underhanded dealings that company was involved in?
No.
Do you have any reason to believe your friend would know, or would he have been in the dark as well?
I don't expect he would know. I think everyone that I, on my immediate team, we were all just there doing our jobs. But, more and more comes out about this. It makes me wonder just how deep it went.
They are clearly at the center of some sort of actual conspiracy. We already know about your mother being killed and received extra details from Dr. October as to how, since he believes Shadestone is directly responsible. The same may be for Sean Fitzpatrick. It's unclear if they may also be the ones behind the disappearance of Dr. Rostenkowski. But why would they have taken her body?
I think
If her body was even taken.
I think it's more likely
She still
that
could be alive.
I think it's more likely that she was the instrument of her own disappearance.
Concealing herself to protect herself.
Possible. Interesting. The large dollar amounts that were withdrawn from her bank account and the joint account she held with Logan McCluskey, Electrum, they could have been spent towards helping her hide her disappearance. Perhaps she knew somebody that could help her with that task, if that's what actually happened. Either that, or she knew what was happening, tried to escape, and was found.
Mm-hmm.
Strange. Unfortunately, we don't have further information regarding Fitzpatrick unless we actually look for his grave as well.
What do you think would we find if we looked at his grave too?
If his body is there, then we could attempt to analyze it on site and determine how he died. All we know was it was an accident. Perhaps it wasn't.
Do we have a date of his death?
Yes, the newspaper article would confirm the date of the death, and in fact, the newspaper article is tied to the obituary. It was actually Dr. Sean Fitzpatrick. Oh, thank you for the follow. The article specifically indicates that he ended up dying when access, basically an access, not ramp, but access support over toxic chemicals gave way. He was at the facility to check for basically checking for the robotics, and the robots at in this particular Shadestone facility were involved in the handling of chemicals, so processing and disposing of chemical waste. And he was there to ensure that those robots were functioning proper and get them recertified.
That's how your skin turns white, and then you get big mouth, and then you just kind of go crazy.
Right.
This is going to sound really crazy. What if Sean Fitzpatrick is actually Dr. October?
What?
Interesting idea. I see why you would think that.
Anybody else got any of these waffles?
Oh,
Do
me,
you
me,
think
me.
he actually survived the accident?
Mainframe, do you know when the first recorded sighting of Dr. October would have been?
Affirmative, correlating, and then it prints out a news article, on the screen.
Is that date after the obituary?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's it post dates the obituary by 3 years or so.
Sounds about right to me.
giving him enough time to recuperate as much as he could, create his armor that he wears, his disguise, and set up his various bases and technology.
That would explain his interest in Shadestone, his interest in Alice Rostenkowski. The robotics is, the link is there.
Jerome, the specific date of Sean's death, was it in October?
No, but
Okay.
that is a great tidbit that I probably should have thrown in there.
Was his date of birth in October?
Yes. We'll say, for sake of argument, that's a superficial detail, but sure.
Yeah.
Yes, it was in October.
I wonder if we could get a sample of his handwriting somewhere. I mean, granted, I don't expect Dr. October would be writing missives where he seems more the digital type now, but
How about we do something we normally wouldn't do and just call the man? Just ask him outright. I mean, we don't have to blow up any more houses by accident. We don't have to melt any dogs or housekeepers. Maybe he'll be honest.
That's actually not a terrible idea.
I love how at the beginning of this game he went from, why are we dealing with supervillains? Why are we making deals with them to, why don't we just call him?
This whole time he was hangry. Now that he's had waffles, he's fine.
Oh, right. Yep, there we go.
He had the proper amount of sugar to
You know what?
ease his
I
mouth.
That's not it.
I figured it
Just
out.
doesn't want to blow
Snickers
anything
bar.
else up today. Let's not blow something up.
Dr. October is Angler
Oh, there you
when
go.
he's hungry.
When he's hungry.
Yeah.
You guys wake up one day with Angler walking around looking like Joe Pesci, just cursing up a storm, and is like, have you had a Snickers yet?
Right, exactly.
Here's some waffles.
however,
Snickers on top.
if they are the same person, however, that out the window goes my other conjecture that he may have been Komori's biological father, because surely he would have put that together if he knows that Dr. Rostenkowski is your mother, right?
Yes, I think
So-
so.
Komori, give me an intuition check.
Okay.
And in a Darth Vader voice, you're going to hear, Kamari, I am your father.
Exactly.
No.
It would be more like, I am your father.
Yeah. Oh no.
Okay, since we're getting meta, did you see the clip where Mark Hamill was asked to do the Joker as Darth Vader doing that reveal to Luke
no.
Skywalker?
Oh.
Because
No.
he did do that.
Oh, that's cool. I gotta
That's
look for
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Ha ha ha.
Oh.
Nope.
Okay.
That's a white feet again,
Yeah.
sir.
So
Her
Komori,
white
you're a bit stumped with that question. Just thought I'd ask. Hyperion,
I don't
why don't you give me
remember.
an intuition check?
That night is kind of fuzzy.
Green feet.
Okay. You did manage to find that letter, however. Do you remember what the letter referenced there, Hyperion?
Let's see here. Okay. Talking about. Gonna have a second chance after the attempt on my life. Okay. The letter that he wrote did indicate that there was an attempt on his life. And that he
But it
was
also indicated that she up and vanished.
right. Shortly thereafter, or not thereafter, but beforehand, she had left suddenly, vanished. You may be right. But if that's the case, what do we do with that information?
What do you think he would do if we revealed that we knew his identity? What's the protocol for that? I don't suppose he would just say, "You got me. I'll give up my life of crime."
He may go multiple directions.
I think he's already in multiple directions.
He may either accept or possibly go off the handle, as they say.
Or he could realize his entire life is a facade, give up a life for crime, and turn himself in. We don't know. But instead of postulating over who he really is, we have enough information to make a deduction. We might as well ask him if we're going to interact with them anyways. We don't want to go over the same ideas over and over again at this point, because we keep making mistakes and we're never going to stop making them. We can't do this perfectly. But if we can at least know who they really are, we can help us determine how to handle the situations when they come up.
I will I will take a plate of waffles and start doctoring it up.
Okay.
In that
Tamori is
case,
just eating, like listening intently.
we should reach out to him.
Do we how do we do that?
The way that he mentioned to communicate with him would be to post a message that he would understand on a nearby billboard.
Oh, right.
We should meet him in a non-populated area. Or if anything were to happen, we can reduce the possibility of collateral casualties as much as possible. We can confront him and ask about his identity and see why he specifically attacked the CEO of Shadestone, what his exact goal was there. And if it turns out that he did actually kill him and that wasn't some strange ruse, we'll need to apprehend him.
We should also let Aegis know.
Which part?
Beginning with the theory. They might have other information that could collaborate the situation.
Well, you have been our official liaison. Would you be willing to contact Nene?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Give me about 2 more minutes.
Everyone eat up and
He will-
rest.
He will finish his waffles and then he'll go and call Nene.
Jerome, my contact at Shadestone, I would have worked with him for some time.
Mhm.
Would I know about how long he had been with the company?
Yeah, probably from conversation. He had been prior to you coming, he had been with the company like 2 years. So at this point, since you've left, he's probably been there about 4 now.
Okay, so that would have been well past the time where these two would have been employed there, or would have not been employed there.
Correct.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that letter that you're referring to was actually dated. Oh shoot. Drawing a blank, but sometime in the 80s.
Did we establish? I mean, that was. Did we establish how long before Komori was born? That letter was written.
Great
letter
question.
was-
So when Komori was born when again? 74?
75. Yeah.
75? Okay.
Oh,
And the letter was dated 1980.
Yeah.
but it was from here. Wait, so how long ago did she disappear from Komori's life again?
I think it was 4 years.
4 years ago.
Mm-hmm. I think.
Something like that.
I
Yeah,
can-
it was before you got out of high school.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the dates don't match up on that. So she's probably not his daughter. Right?
That is a great in-character question.
Suppose that I was trying to lay out a timeline.
Sure.
Actually, you know what? Do we have a whiteboard in this room?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna start marking up the whiteboard with all the dates that we have, and just
Someone's breaking out a crime board. There you go.
yeah, yeah.
Where's the red string?
Making the
know.
timeline. Yep. So based on the information that you have, it's entirely, again, you're missing some details, but it is entirely possible that Sean Fitzpatrick, when Sean Fitzpatrick, within reasonable certainty, Sean Fitzpatrick and Alice Rostenkowski worked together.
Right.
And if you're theorizing that he is possibly the father, you're missing details, but it does fit in that timeline somewhere. There is some overlap.
Because Komori lived in California, right?
Correct.
But Shadestone is here in Colorado.
Correct.
So unless she left Komori and moved to Colorado to work at Shadestone,
Or the other way around.
Right.
See that's
After
what
the
you're-
accident.
that you're looking at it forward progressing. You need to back up a few and realize that it part of this timeline could have been, because the note is saying that she up and vanished. She could have left him. Oh, I mean, again, you're looking at the timeline. If you're trying to piece it together,
yeah.
she could have left him when she realized she was pregnant.
But I thought she left him in the 80s.
No, it didn't state. The letter was in the 80s saying that she had up and left.
But it didn't specify when she had up and left.
Right.
Okay.
Clearly it had to be
okay.
shortly before then.
Okay, so I would be like madly marking down all of these points and like where she was at this point and where Komori was
Yep.
and where he was
Based on what you know, right.
and all of this. And I'm just like marking up that board.
And that
Hyperion,
doesn't even get into whether or not
now that she's marking that board down,
Yeah.
give me a reason check.
Okay.
and it's not like people who've split up have never hooked back up on a one night stand again.
Right.
That is true.
Could have been a 2-night stand.
Or a weekend.
One on each side of the bed,
Green.
2 nightstands.
Green feet.
Green feet.
Mm.
Okay. So keep in mind, if as you are going back over your own timeline, the first timestamp you ever had was from 1971, and that was with Dr. McCluskey and Dr. Rostenkowski.
Right. I'm going to put that on the board too.
Yeah, so I mentioned that.
And I'll put on the board the date of the withdrawal from that bank account.
Right.
And I'll use different colored markers to color code the people
Sure.
so we can try and find patterns.
And your and if you recall, there was you also had a timestamp of 1986.
Right, because that's when he then woke up again, and that's when he got to see Dr. Rostenkowski.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Dr. McCluskey.
Right.
And that was here.
That was in California, actually.
Oh, really?
Yep.
He first began to create me here with rudimentary materials, and I was able to see a piece of the vein in 1971. Later, after collaborating with DARPA scientists and engineers in California, I regained consciousness in 1986. That's when I first truly met Dr. McCluskey and Dr. Rostenkowski. But it was only for a few hours before they powered me down again.
So if you piece your pieces of information onto that timeline, Brittany, it's entirely possible. Again, there are still large groups of missing information here, but again, there's more overlap. It's entirely possible that if she left Sean Fitzpatrick, he had no idea what was going on, and she probably got together with this individual, Dr. McCluskey, around that, or at some point during that timeline, and that may have precipitated why she left him.
Well, we all know that Electrum was
a chime.
If you know what I mean.
Yes.
He was
was
busy.
Charming and persuasive.
Mm-hmm.
He was a doorknob. Everyone got their turn.
Yeah. Well.
Mm-hmm. He was an intergalactic doorknob.
He was indeed. But considering how easily many metahumans can get around, I mean, logistically, physically,
not
get
around.
Yeah. Not metaphorically. I don't think it's worth following his movements. For example, I know he was in and out of my life, mostly out, but most deadbeat dads are like that, so that doesn't surprise me at all. In any case, what do you think? Have we missed any information here?
It seems as if we've covered all of the relevant information, at least that which we have. I think your analysis makes sense. Excellent work. With this, when we confront him, perhaps knowing this will allow him to explain himself. Perhaps if he's aware that perhaps Komore could be his daughter, that might do something. Given his mental state, it's unclear what would happen. I could guess that if anything was correct about the article that indicated how he supposedly died, if he was hit with a batch of toxic chemicals that Shadestone was creating, perhaps that's why he acts the way he does, and why he wears his helmet. May have done something to him permanently.
Do you think he would be interested in some kind of a paternity test?
I suppose there's only one way to find out.
Jerry. Jerry, Jerry, Jerry.
P.S. Do you know Jerry Springer just died?
Yeah, he just recently passed away.
Yep.
So odd.
Yeah.
I mean, disappointing, but also incidental.
You're right.
He was such a wholesome individual.
And the mayor of Chicago at one point.
Yep.
Interesting.
Oh, that's right.
And now that he is done with his waffles, he's calling Nene.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
I moved way past that.
That's
look-
all right. Y'all were working
gonna-
on y'all's thing, and I'm not going to interrupt it.
So
I'm gonna sit back
Ixion
down.
looks over. Ixion looks at Hyperion and kind of glances around and says, "I do not see what the big deal is about these waffles. It almost makes me wish that I could eat them."
Oh, so much better than pancakes. No contest.
The little divots like can collect butter and syrup, so you like get a mouthful of yum.
It's like a syrup and butter bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I can only attempt to imagine, but I'll
Because
take all of your
I
word
have-
for it.
Have
I have
someone
no
I'm on
idea
the
what
phone,
any of that
Shidon.
is.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna use telepathy and reach out to Joan.
Okay. I will get to that in just a second. So, Angler, you place your call to the Aegis Foundation again.
I'll be right back.
They put you on a quick pause or a quick hold as you are being put through to somebody in the booth, essentially, in dispatch. Na 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 na. And then it comes. Then familiar voice comes through. Aegis Foundation, Nene speaking.
Hey, Nene. It's Freddie.
Oh, hey, Freddie.
So we might have a lead on who Dr. October is.
Ooh, interesting. We haven't run into him lately.
He recently bombed Shadestone.
I heard. Didn't you guys like help out with the fire?
Recovery.
And... Yeah, okay.
We think it might be a supposedly dead former employee, Dr. Sean Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
He supposedly died when a catwalk gave way underneath him. And then 3 years later, Dr. October shows up.
Okay, I'm sensing villain origin story.
I know, right? So I don't know if Aegis has anything to corroborate that, but it might be a beginning of figuring out who he is and maybe curtailing or being able to get him arrested.
Interesting. Okay. I can send that up to our analyst. It's going to take a bit to figure out, obviously. But as you know more, let us know, and hopefully that'll speed things up.
Oh yeah, we just figured it out about half an hour ago. I was making waffles.
You guys all have breakfast with one another?
We tried to.
Breakfast for dinner.
Oh,
It
okay.
builds a tight bond, a good community.
Sure. I just
My-
figured
my-
you guys would be like hitting up, the big 5-star restaurants and whatnot. Kind of like the Justice Legion does.
My opinions. But no, it builds a tight unit to eat together and to spend time together. So whenever we get a chance, I make breakfast, lunch, or dinner or something like that.
Oh, okay. Did you need anything else from me?
Nope, that was it. I just wanted to pass along that information because someone in Aegis might have more information on it or might have more details on it. That way they can follow up and go, okay, here's some information they may have missed and can put it all the way together.
You're supposed to ask her out.
This
Oh,
is a
okay, sure
business
thing.
call.
Well, I will let you know as soon as we know more.
Tell her.
All right, and if we get any more information, you'll be talking to me, and we'll be going over this a little bit more.
Okay.
Tell her to make breakfast.
Awesome.
sometime.
Fantastic.
All right, bye, Nene.
Bye. Click.
Click. Y'all know she may have overheard you this time.
Good thing Sean was in her room.
Yeah. So
Telepathy.
yeah, I would just reach out to Chon and say, "Hey, come have some waffles. You need to see what we just figured out."
She responds, I'm not hungry.
No, but really, you need to see this.
Am I going to get told off again?
No.
Fine. So she makes her way out there. And she kind of takes a step back when she sees Hyperion.
Okay. There's still a gaggle of waffles laying out on the table,
A gaggle of waffles.
pats of butter. Aunt Jemima, with her hands on her hips, just smiling, waiting for you to squeeze her over that waffly goodness.
And Mrs. Buttersworth.
Don't make it weird, Jerome. So
And he goes off to-
I'll just point to the whiteboard.
And he goes off to train his power stunt now that he's full of food.
Okay.
Can I roll for it?
Yeah, go ahead.
What level is it again?
So, with this information, yellow feet. That may be enough for us to at least get through to him if he'll respond to our message. But we need to start by actually leaving one so that we can meet him.
So you think that he is Kamari's father?
It's very possible.
Wahoo.
Wow. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. My mom was amazing.
I concur.
Well, it sounds like your dad was pretty amazing too. And then he had an accident and kind of lost himself.
Well, before we get ahead of ourselves, we should create the message.
Where should we meet him? I would suggest something like the amusement park, but
I was just going to say, what about the abandoned music park?
But I don't want. I want to keep that kind of a safe, secret meeting place. So maybe let's think of something else. I mean, there's other abandoned parts of Fairview.
Mainframe, can you do you have information that would let you determine the population densities of different areas within Fairside?
Negative.
I need.
Most census information for Fairside is inaccurate.
That would make sense, unfortunately.
What about top of some building?
We would need to make sure the building's abandoned.
I don't think we know there's got to be a bunch of them there in Fairside.
Well, even abandoned buildings are often occupied out there.
Jerome,
Yes.
is the building that I found those thieves. Was that building abandoned?
That was. It is mostly wrecked, but it is most assuredly abandoned.
That means
I
wouldn't
know a
do
place.
much more damage.
You do. Is it close by?
It's in Fairside.
Hmm.
It's mostly a wreck at this point,
It's
but
only mostly dead.
That should
Oh.
suffice.
it's remote.
The attempt is to keep it away from a large populated area. If that's the case, we can make that our location to meet. If there's a billboard nearby that location, we can place the message there.
I don't recall if there's a billboard nearby, but there might be.
Jerome,
Yes.
prior to me losing the efficiency of being able to phase shift kind of, or manipulate my body, was it more easily healed when I was damaged, when I could do that?
Yeah. Yeah, it
Then-
definitely was because you were able to basically free float and free form.
Blubify.
Mm-hmm.
It's the technique.
I'm trying to manipulate my foot then to do that.
To reform from the damage.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a roll then.
What should I roll?
We're gonna roll your endurance.
Oh no!
Yellow. High yellow.
Okay. So you're able to start reforming your leg at this point to the humanoid shape that it had been previously. So then you guys are looking for a billboard, any billboard, to post up this note.
How about a billboard in view of, or like close to his?
We can fly there while cloaked, or teleport nearby while cloaked, search the area. When we find an adequate location, we can get ourselves there and create a message. Now the question is, what will the message be, and how do we create it?
Is there some way that we can communicate with him that wouldn't be just, some kind of a code? Or a binary, maybe? I don't know.
Possible.
Binary would be able to be read by anyone with that knowledge.
But the likelihood of some random individual knowing what that means is low.
Do you think there's some other? I don't know.
How about like chemical compounds?
Perhaps. Or perhaps it could simply be simple. We draw a jack-o'-lantern and then provide coordinates at a time.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Is there anything other than binary that you could use?
Morse code. And I don't know
I'm
what are
suggesting to the robot hexadecimal. I have studied hexadecimal and I cannot read hexadecimal.
Yeah, well, that's not my thing, so I would not have known to suggest that.
Which is why he's saying it offhand.
Right.
We don't know of his other language skills. We could use some sort of computer code or make it simple. Perhaps doing the same.
Just make it to where it's not so obvious, so we don't have other curious people arriving at those
Maybe-
coordinates.
Well, let's also not spend a whole lot of time on figuring out how to do this, so that way we don't lose time gaming.
Right.
So,
Maybe put the jack-o'-lantern and then the computer code.
Exactly. All right. So, Jerome, do we have something in the vein that could be used to like mark up, like graffiti-ish style?
for to keep the story going, we will say yes, and you find a billboard somewhere reasonably high downtown that is in view of, at least 2 highways or maybe some major streets or something, and then set that up.
Isn't this considered property damage?
It is, yes.
Well, we can't lose any more points today,
That
so
is correct.
This is true.
might as well.
It's for the greater good.
But that being said,
Komori could do it. She could fly up there and do it, so you guys don't lose points.
well, everybody who's involved would technically lose points. So.
Oh, gotcha.
So actually, that's great for you to point that out. Take 5 karma off.
Hey,
Okay,
Womp womp.
So,
fine.
but you've done that at this point. You wait a day and go to the building that Komori has suggested. You've scouted it out and waited. And this place, it looks like it was a home at one point in time. And like, not only did part of it catch fire, but like it was involved in a shootout. I mean, it needs to be demolished, for lack of a better term. It's about as abandoned as you could possibly get. Even bums wouldn't come here for any sort of solace, because there's like no roof or anything. But I'm going to go ahead and presume a bit, just so we can keep the story going here, because we're running a little short on time. Everybody is invisible to some degree or whatnot, with the exception of Hyperion. That way, there's the risk only to the one, and the rest of you can jump in should something need to happen or whatever have you. And you're waiting around Hyperion for a sign or something. And then you hear this faint, sort of like kind of like a bubbling, almost Jetson like car noise.
Okay.
And you end up seeing this this little random robot with these pegs at the bottom. They look almost like legs and feet, but they're balls. They come straight down to like almost like weight balls. And at first glance, as you think, that's probably to help keep whatever anti-gravity thing it's got, to help kind of keep it balanced or something.
Yeah.
Kind of a smart little setup. It looks kind of like it's got, if it lowered its head, it could almost look like a flying high-class trash can. Its head is kind of round. It's got obvious eyes, but they're robotic. They're not like human.
Oh, the movie,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
the Disney movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I know which one.
Yep, it's called the Black Hole.
Yeah.
And it has arms kind of to its side, but they're permanently affixed.
Okay.
And they kind of come out to like pointed protrusions, but flat in the middle. And it kind of hovers. It hovers up and looks in, and it's expressive and emotive, but in a slightly primitive way. Like the head will go up and down a little bit to help the eyes look like it's focusing or getting smaller or wider or whatnot. And it looks around it, and it says, "My, aren't you late?"
We've actually been here for a time. We needed to speak with you. first?
I was unaware that you knew Vincent would be showing. I carry a message from Dr. October.
I see. What is his message?
Do you agree to accept the message? Say agree.
Agree.
Okay, so then he pauses. He's still kind of floating there at this point, and then you hear Dr. October's voice come along. You bumbling idiots! I left you a number of clues. You couldn't be bothered to come downtown. So if you're hearing this, I'm probably dead by now. As well as that rat Belichick. You missed your opportunity. I found her. Lord only knows what happened to her this time. And then it continues on. Oh, I bet you thought you were talking to me right now, didn't you? She showed up at her house the other night. On the run. And if I know you right about now, you've got that betwixt look on your face, wondering on the run from who? That is a long, sordid tale, I'm afraid. One of Shadestone's dealings with Senya. You might want to skip to the end at this point. Oh, never mind, I'll do it for you. They managed to pick her up, yet again. Good luck finding her. Then it signs off. Message has been completed.
I thought his message was going to be like pulling out a couple of bazooka arms.
Right.
Do you really think he's dead? Raise of hands here.
What in Solanthus was that?
Our mom's alive. Or what is Selenia?
Senia.
So many questions. What is that?
It's an archipelago, a nation on the other side of Earth that has a reputation for using slave labor from superpowered beings to mine
And they
special ore.
took my mom again? Or found her? Oh, this is so confusing.
Droid, are you responsive to commands?
Affirmative.
Would you be willing to guide us to Dr. October's most recent hideout?
Negative. I am not permitted to reveal trade secrets.
Is he really dead?
This unit is unaware of any vital signs for Dr. October.
If you're able to reason, then, droid, would there be a point in maintaining secrecy of that location since the administrator who gave the command is deceased?
Affirmative. It has been hard-coded into my operating system. And should that location be revealed, I will self-destruct.
I see.
What is your directive without the administrator?
You were querying for information you were not cleared for.
Kamara, you try talking to it.
Do you know where Dr. October is?
Dr. October's last known location was, and it chimes out the Shadestone main building in Strongford.
So you are unaware of at this time where Dr. October is?
Affirmative.
Maybe he knew you were his and left you a message somehow.
Is there only one administrator for your operating systems?
Affirmative. And then
And
there's-
is that
and then there's
Dr.
a-
October?
And then there's a chime at this point, and it says, "My time is up. All of you have a good evening." And he
You get.
starts hovering away.
He follows.
Yeah, can we follow it?
You certainly can.
Okay.
Right.
Let's do that.
I don't think Komori is gonna let this thing out of her sight.
Okay. So it's hovering, it's not going very fast. It's just hovering and looking around Fairside at this point. Occasionally making some sort of beep or chirping noise as it does. And then you see a flash and it's gone.
Like gone how?
Gone
Like-
with less gusto as Shone would do.
It had teleporting capabilities.
Didn't know robots could do that.
Is there a way that Shone could feel like if there is a portal there?
No. Unfortunately, no, you don't have that capability.
I maintain he's still alive.
Why do you think so?
Do you trust him?
Why would he lie about this?
Throw us off the trail.
Of what?
His activities.
We would have been an aid to him.
And he would have griped at us for blowing up his house and his housekeeper.
I am a little surprised that we weren't. Yeah, I don't. That he didn't come after us after that. Do you think we could take a look around his house? I expect it's a crime scene, but we can work
It's-
around that, right?
It's spycraft. If you wanted to do something where people don't see you, you fake your death. I don't trust him not because he's a villain, and which of course he is, but he's smart. We
And
didn't recover
mentally
a body
unstable
from
at the same time.
We didn't recover a body from Shade.
I mean,
Or
it
Shadestone.
was an explosion.
Admittedly, now that we see he has teleportative technology, the explosion could have been a cover as he teleported away. If he has
Ooh.
that type of technology.
That is very true.
I have
think
to
if-
actually agree with Freddie. I don't think he's dead.
I think let's think this like the military would think it. Let's prepare for the worst and hope for the best. He has accomplished his mission, killing the CEO of Shadestone. His girlfriend, waifu, whatever we want to call her these days. And he has accomplished his ultimate goal in dealing with them. He may just disappear for the remainder of his life.
I don't think he would disappear completely.
I am 100% with you. But at
That's-
least for now, he seems to be off the grid for our regards.
We might find him in Cinia.
And there's a chime from Mainframe. Mainframe to Hyperion.
Hyperion here.
Your files are waiting for you on the conference table.
Thank you, mainframe. We'll be there shortly. Let's head back to the vein and see what we have now.
So we're not going to look at his house.
What would we accomplish there?
I think at the very least, if we could find some DNA sample there, we could confirm whether he was Kumori's father.
If we all want to attempt another foray to that location, we can. Won't take us long to get there.
I don't think we all need to go for that, though.
Let's get Aegis involved in that, since they are aware that Fitzpatrick might be Dr. October. They may be able to get clearance to go around the police instead of having to break into it.
I agree.
All right, that sounds valid.
Okay.
When we get back to the vein, I'll call Nene and see if we can't get that arranged.
Okay.
Make sure you ask her out this time.
Yeah,
All
offer
right.
to make her breakfast.
And yes, that doesn't come off creepy at all for someone to just say, "Hey, I'd like to make you breakfast."
I
mean,
you
you
should've
just
talked to
ask
her
her to the movies and then let it progress to waffles in the morning.
You should have just brought it up when you were talking
He
about it.
heads back to the vein.
Hey,
Yeah, so at this point, there's idle chit chat about, Angler's dating life, some harassment from his sisters, and everybody goes back to the vein at this point. Waiting on the table, there's a couple of manila envelopes where it looks like some files have been photocopied and included. They are personnel files from Shadestone.
Okay. I'm looking through them, parsing the data as before.
Okay. So there's information there on Sean Fitzpatrick, and obviously nothing is going to be like, there's no memos or anything written down. They wouldn't be stupid enough to put that and then put it into a personnel file or whatnot. But you can tell that shortly before Fitzpatrick ended up dying, quote unquote, the company had transferred a number of his projects that he had been working on in the robotics division to somebody else.
who is that somebody? Anyone of interest?
No, it just says like, basically it doesn't give a name. It just states what department it ended up going to.
Okay.
There's also personnel file on Alice Rostenkowski, and it looks like she terminated her employment within a week of Sean supposedly dying.
Right.
Perhaps she knew of his mental breakdown due to his accident. And that may be why she left.
It's possible.
If it is in fact him being Dr. October.
Or she was just upset that her boyfriend mysteriously died under questionable circumstances, and she wanted no part of it.
The incident where she purportedly saved his life, you think that was this incident?
It could
No,
be.
I'm just
Or
saying
was there another one?
we don't need a complex theory to explain someone's boyfriend or husband or betrothed, whatever, dying under mysterious circumstances and someone leaving the company.
And then you also
There's much simpler and much more logical follow-ups to that than, oh my God, my boyfriend may have died and he's becoming a supervillain now.
There's also some notes in the files that you've received. They basically they're handwritten missives. Not that they're actual like personnel files, but there's a number of them that are in communication with the Senia Ministry of Technology.
Okay. From Sean Fitzpatrick?
No, in between the Shadestone Incorporated as to Senia.
Okay.
Would it behoove us to go to Senia?
I don't think that's a good idea.
Now, that
That's
was-
the only clue we have to where my mom is.
It's true.
That
assumes Dr. October was telling the truth.
We have to assume so. It's the only trail we have to follow.
that Senia is a bigger can of worms than we are prepared to deal with right now.
I used to have an old drill instructor who had a very specific phrase about assumptions.
Lightbringer, do you think that you could get your grandfather to investigate for us?
In Senia?
Yes.
Do we want to start another war?
I'm sure he already is invested in multiple ways.
Perhaps
in what's
he
happening there.
could. He would have a way of finding out if their mother is there.
I suppose it's worth asking.
I mean, the worst thing that can happen is we're told no.
This is going to be complicated.
We may have to wait a couple weeks till after the UN is done.
Oh, certainly. But just in case any of you have forgotten, we also believe that there were slaves sent to Senia from
By blackout.
From Fairview and also from Argentina. I need a sticky note for like all of the terms for this game. Anyway,
It was in Latveria.
No. Or was it in Rio?
With Huggy Jesus.
But so this is a continuing issue. I expect that we'll have to deal with it at some point, but this is a worldwide conspiracy, and there's a whole world economy based around this. We need to tread really carefully.
Do you think Aegis would get involved if we told them that what we know so far, that we feel that the doctor is alive and she's been taken to Senia?
What about putting in a call to our pseudo adoptive mother, Ms. McCall, and see if she has any insight on this?
Someone else can make the call to Meredith. I don't think me and her get along very well.
She scares me, so I'm not doing it.
I can call, but she has been incognito. She might not be back for another day or two. Oh,
it was worth a shot.
Jerome did. Let's see, what was his name? Shield. Did Shield make any? Because it seemed like he was going to be taking the next flight along with like the students coming out here. Is today the day that they arrive, or is it the next day?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Also, another point where we may need to tread carefully is I don't know that Meredith is going to be very invested in finding Dr. Wostankowski, considering that her history with Electrum.
True. But every time she's come upon that obstacle, she's pushed through it.
I mean, she deals with us on, well, she was dealing with us on a daily basis.
Correct.
And we're a pretty big reminder of his infidelity.
And
I think she
also-
would still be here if we didn't have the mix up with the access to the Bane.
Perhaps she has her limits. I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do is about this. Obviously, I think it's something that we'll want to look into, but I don't know the right way to do it.
I think that we should be sanctioned by Aegis to go in and retrieve her.
Aegis is a private company. They do not have the authority to.
No,
us
but they've
permission.
got their ways of getting around stuff. And we're going in pursuit of Dr. October.
Jerome, isn't Aegis basically like a mercenary company?
Mhm.
So they're like contractors.
Yes,
And sometimes the government hires them and sometimes private individuals hire them.
that is correct.
And the only reason we're associated with them is to forgive our war crimes when Fairside got blocked in. Or Sunnyside?
Fairside.
I was right the first time?
Yep.
When Fairside got blockaded.
That was before my time.
It was.
The question of what is the right thing to do? In my mind, the right thing is always the most just course of action. Following laws when they themselves are just, defending the innocent, and apprehending criminals. Technically, going to Senia could accomplish that.
Well, and your mother has been kidnapped, as far as we know.
Yes.
I wish there was a way to get some kind of confirmation on the intel. Is there
Which
any
is
way that we could
Go ahead.
get that?
The only way we currently know of her apparent abduction was from that drone.
Right.
If we are to take Dr. October at his alleged final word, that would mean that he at least struck out against an individual who was responsible for her kidnapping, trying to stop that from happening again. But he failed to stop that and sacrificed himself to take out someone he thought was corrupt.
Did it not seem that Dr. October was misguided as he was and immoral in his ways, also somewhat of a vigilante, that he was striving to do what he thought was the greater good?
I'd say that's a fair assessment.
So you're suggesting all of the attacks that he made around town to all of those tech companies were attempting to
Bring justice to himself.
to lead up to all of this?
Or maybe get back the
Perhaps.
technology that was sent off.
Perhaps.
He himself said that he was looking for Dr. Alice Rostenkowski. When we talked to him, when we were first trying to retrieve Komori from that house, that's what his stated goal was, to find her.
I still question why he gave Kamari up so easily. And
He didn't
it
make the connection.
makes me wonder if it is because of who her mother is.
He may have never known that Komori existed. She may have not been
And
born yet.
I also don't look like anything I used to. So maybe he just didn't make the connection.
But he still let you go awfully easily.
Now that I agree with.
That perhaps just goes to show that he was more reasonable than we give him credit for as a villain.
Or once he found out who she was, he realized who she is to him.
Or at least the chance of that being true.
Yes.
Regardless, the only lead that we have is that she
has apparently been sent to
abducted.
Senia.
Yes. And
well, and the more that we sit here and debate about it, the further she's getting from us.
Wait a minute. So he said that she showed up at her house, and who took her to Senia?
I think he just said they.
Yeah, I don't think he said an actual person.
The guests would be Shadestone themselves.
But
what was his exact words, Hyperion?
I'd have to.
Yeah, they took him. They took her.
Okay.
And it was
yes, I'm asking because he's a robot.
Yeah.
He's an android.
Get it right.
Did I? So my understanding of that message was that this was a recent occurrence.
Correct.
Well, he's called us bumbling idiots and that he left clues all over for us. And he said we were late.
Yeah, I'm not sure what clues he's talking about, and what did he want us to find? But that implies that there are agents of Senia actively operating right now somewhere within the city.
But we've known that forever.
Yeah, but they're still here.
And they've taken...
Just because we busted one criminal within their empire does not mean they're going to pull out entirely.
And now they have taken yet another one of our citizens.
So is that something that we can follow up on? Look for clues about that? Look for, I don't know, cameras around her house?
It was just a regular neighborhood, besides that weird robot and the house and the dog.
Were you ever able to enter that house, Komori, that Dr. Rostenkowski was at?
No.
Was it occupied? Do you remember?
It was not occupied.
Do you know how long it sat empty?
No.
I wonder if anybody's been living there since your mother was there.
I don't think so.
We can find that out. Hyperion goes over to the phone, picks it up, and he asks, let's see, Would there be any like phone numbers available on the internet at this point? Like if you wanted to contact like a real estate office?
We
Yeah.
probably have a yellow pages
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
or a
right.
white
Okay.
pages.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
nothing.
we still had phone. Yeah, we still had
Let your
phone books
fingers
back
do the
then.
walking.
Yeah.
Well, and if you looked at the for sale sign, you probably could have called that number too.
Yeah,
If you can remember everything.
you
So
probably.
I'm
yeah,
not sure that
probably
we.
told you.
Oh, was that house like just right next to
Yep.
Doctor?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then just that number that was on the for sale sign. We'll go ahead and dial
Recall.
that.
Okay. And what are you looking for specifically?
Just trying to find out mainly how long that property has been for sale.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm just trying to keep speed this up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could talk to the realtor. It's been for sale several years now. They haven't. They've had plenty of people come and look at it, but never any buyers.
Okay. All right.
And basically, he would give a specific time frame and when the house went up for sale, and it was around the time because you guys have your timeline where things started picking up for Dr. Rostenkowski out in California.
Okay. Oh, and how much is it going for to actually purchase the house?
Oh, it's 150,000.
Okay. All right. Then would there be any availability to see the house today?
Sure, of course.
So he's gonna schedule that soon for later this current day.
Okay.
Himself and maybe one or two other people will meet the realtors there.
Okay.
Kamori will want to go with that
Right.
along.
Right. So is there anything in particular you're looking for when you're at the house?
So going there, that'll just give us like access to walk in and move around.
Mhm.
And while that's happening, maybe one of us can actually go dawdling off and looking to see if she hid anything there, if she had any secret compartments where she stored stuff. I mean, she lived there for a time. Just anything that could be there.
Okay. So if the two of you are there, why don't you both give me intuition checks?
While they're doing that, he's going to go to Aegis in person and give them all the briefing information that he has. He's going to like go in and do a formal report with them.
Okay. Sounds good.
Including all the stuff about Cinia still being active.
Right. Okay.
Which, again, whenever he does it, he's going to say, yeah, I don't think they were ever inactive, but,
Do you have a reroll, Dale?
I do have one reroll, but Abby got a green feat. I got a white feat. She got a green feat.
Okay. So Komore.
Mm-hmm.
So you're poking around at this point while Hyperion is idle chit-chatting the realtor at this point. We're probably talking about what happened next door.
Mm-hmm.
Making it feign, for security purposes or whatnot. You are looking around, and of course the house is still kind of partially furnished at this point to give people a look at what the house layout might be.
It's been staged.
Yes. When you go into what was probably the main bedroom, the master bedroom, and you poke around and you end up finding a loose brick.
Okay, I will tug at the brick.
Okay, so with your hands, you pull the brick out as quickly and quietly as you can, and you end up seeing there's some like really old paperwork tucked in there. It's in a Ziploc bag.
Okay, I'll pull it out.
And that's really it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of room in there for anything.
Okay, I'll put the brick back.
Okay.
and then peruse the papers.
Okay. Paperwork is I wouldn't say generic, but basically the what they are is they're like really old photocopies. So there's like some yellowing of the paper and whatnot, and it's got a funky smell to it because of toner. But basically, what it looks like your mom may have gotten herself in hot water in the company or somehow exposed because the paperwork shows ties to biological research and the United States government, as well as Canada and Japan, that went through Shadestone. And then you also find more paperwork that talks about basically, work on the genetic structure that has been going through Senia. And from some handwritten notes, it looks like she surmised that a lot of the illicit deals that Shadestone would be doing, like when you go to like pharmaceutical companies used to do this, or medical companies and whatnot, where they would take their research to a country where the laws weren't so strict for certain types of testing. And that's basically what Shadestone has done with Senia.
I will pocket those and then go up to Mark and say, well, I think we found what we needed. Or saw what we needed, and I'll wink.
Okay.
She's off.
Well, the realtor's kind of like looking back and forth, and he's like, okay.
Excellent. We need a little bit more time to decide, but we'll be in touch. Thank you for the walkthrough.
Of course. You've got my number. Just let me know.
Will do.
Come on, honey.
And that is where we're going to stop for the evening. It is at 9:30. So I had hoped we would get further, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not always the best budgeting out storylines. My one shots usually turn into 2 or 3 shots. That sort of
Doesn't
thing.
help that it takes us forever to figure out what kind of message we want to.
So
Your one
We
shot
gotta get
turns
better
into
at that.
magazines.
Right.
Click, bang, 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 bang.
something like that.
Well, it's been fun. I wish I could play, but Saturdays are hard.
Right.
No, I understand. Hopefully everybody will keep you up to date as to what happens from here. So thank you guys all for tuning in tonight. For those who hung out with us, the new followers, don't forget we have our Cyberpunk game coming up this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Oh, yikes.
Hopefully it's less explosive.
I
Yeah,
hope
I know.
so.
Yeah.
We had 2 players go boom. So we have new characters that are going to be introduced. And then this coming Saturday at 11 a.m. we're going to have Blood Ties. Ashland by Night Blood Ties, so the next vampire game session. So should be pretty exciting. Had a lot of fun tonight. Lots of big reveals. And I will, of course, get the website updated for more information on the fictional places found within our world. So that way you have more of an understanding of what they are. So Davy Jones, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week as well. Take it easy, guys. Good night.
Good night.
There we go.